going on, people? How y'all doing? Marty here, and this is a VCLT video because I have been quite blessed to be sent quite a bit of stuff lately from some very generous people in the vinyl community, CD community, metal community, I should say. We're not really all of vinyl community, but so VCLT. A lot of you have heard of it. A lot of you know what it is. A lot of us in the community, you know, whether we're purging some stuff from our collections or get something new for somebody that we think that they would like. It's just like randomly sending people stuff. Sometimes we know it's coming, sometimes we don't. And the thing that makes it fun is, well, one, that someone thought of you enough to send you something. That's very cool. Secondly, you know, let's be honest. 80%, 90% of this stuff, the recipient typically would not have bought that on their own. 9 times out of 10. And, you know, with a lot of this stuff, this is the case. But what makes it fun is exploring new music that it would not have been on your radar otherwise. You feel obligated to listen to it because it was sent to you. And it's been a lot of fun. And there's been so much stuff here in the last month. My goal was to listen to everything before I sat down to this video because I wanted to be able to talk eloquently or studiously about the things that were sent to me. But a lot of shit has come in and I've done my best, but I'm not there yet. And I didn't want to keep putting it off. So some of the stuff I've listened to, a good chunk of it I've listened to, hit or miss, depending on how long I've had the package. But anyway, let's get started. These are all kind of, I'm showing them as they were sent to me in order of arrival. First up, a kind gentleman down in Philly named Rick Contreras, who holds court over at the Dreadful Minutes. All these people I'm going to put down in the description. So, so you can go check out their channels if you are unaware of their activities. But Rick has sent me several packages here in the last couple months, which was very kind of him. Some of these were all of this was very thoughtful, to be completely honest. But let's get started with a couple tapes. First up, Deep Purple Burn. This is the first Deep Purple album I've ever owned. And this is an album featuring David Coverdale on vocals, and I'm pretty sure it's got Richie Blackmore on guitar. And another thing, having not listened to all this stuff or researched any of it, I'm going to be talking out my ass a lot. So take all this with a grain of salt. This is a great album. I mean, y'all kind of know what Deep Purple, it's basically John Lord's project. So it's very organ, keyboard heavy stuff. Very good album if you're into that stuff, that old rock, proto-metal. I don't know if I'd call Deep Purple proto-metal, but this dates back to 1974, so I was 3 when this came out. First time I've heard it, good album. Next up, Japan's Loudness. This album I was very interested in. I have a couple other Loudness releases that, okay, they're pretty much a hair metal band. Hard rock, hair metal with a Japanese flavor, and their claim to fame is Akira Takasaki, this guy right here. He is a shredder extraordinaire. That's a blurry ass picture. It looks like it's not going to focus for me. He's a shredder extraordinaire, and that is basically the main redeeming quality of all the Loudness stuff. Yes, there's some catchy songs and some good albums in their catalog. I have not heard everything. I've only heard a couple albums, including this one. And I would say that even though this has got a pretty kick-ass album cover, it looks like it'd be a traditional metal or a power metal type of album cover. This album is pretty glammy. I was kind of surprised how glammy it is. This came out in, let me know, 1991 on Atlantic Records. So it's old, but it was very much kissed by the hairspray and spandex movement. A couple songs on here were good. Side 2, I don't remember. It might have been In the Mirror or Long Distance. But yeah, it was interesting to hear this. I'll need to check it out again, but pretty glammy. Next up, this was a kind of a surprise. Hell's Coronation with Ritual Chalice of Hateful Blood. Now, this is an album that I would not have bought, to be completely honest. This is on Under the Sign of Garzel. I would not have bought it. Why? Because it looks, face it, it looks pretty typical. Pretty typical. It looks like something that could have been on Nuclear War Now, to be honest. And that guy, that skull is not real. Dude, if you want to be creepy, get a real skull. If not, you're just a dude in spikes and makeup wearing a skull, a glow-in-the-dark skull you bought at Disneyland, the Pirates of the Caribbean exhibit. If you know what I'm saying. Which I actually own one of those skulls. Anyway, all kidding aside, this album was an eye-opener because this thing is really well written. It's well produced. It is, I wish I looked into where they came from. Don't know exactly where they're located in. But this album, in a lot of ways, reminded me of early Samael. Very dark, occultic styled. It sounds very influenced by the first wave of black metal, to be honest. And this album, in spite of its, it's, I don't know what I'm trying to say. In spite of the way it looks pretty average. It's actually a very well written and good album. So yeah, definitely check out Hell's Coronation. It was an eye-opening experience. I've listened to this album probably about 4 times. So Rick, you nailed it on this one. Thank you so much. Next up, another Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers. This thing came out in the 80s, 1984, and this is I've listened to this once. This is very much a product of the 80s, if that makes any sense. It's got that feel to it. It also has Richie Blackmore in the band, which I thought he left and was gone, but apparently he came back. I don't know. But it's got Richie Blackmore and Ian Gillian on vocals. When I say it's a product of the 80s, is it glammy? No, it's very much a Deep Purple album. It's just very mellow. It's a very mellow, smooth, well produced. It's on Mercury, so I mean they had a fucking budget in the studio. John Lord's organ sound is like a warm blanket over this stuff, and if you're a Deep Purple fan, I would think you probably like this album. And like I said, I listened to it and I was quite surprised. I liked it, but I really preferred Burn over it. I think Burn had a little bit more of a bluesy rock thing. This is more of maybe a little bit of the hair metal infected it. I mean, it's just old British guys, not really affected by that, but aware of the time that they're creating music. It's good. I like it. I'll definitely be checking it out more. Next two, this is very cool of him to do. He found some Kiss albums at a place he went to, and he picked them up for me, which was super kind because Kiss are one of my favorite bands. Asylum, which I did not have this on vinyl. In fact, I only had this on cassette. And the thing is in immaculate shape. I mean, the cover, looks like it's well maintained. The vinyl was spotless, completely clean, really, really good wax. And obviously this is Kiss at the height of the glam era. Having said that, there's some great fucking songs on this album, to be completely honest. King of the Mountain, Who Wants to Be Lonely is a great fucking Paul song. Trial by Fire is a good Gene song. Love's a Deadly Weapon, good Gene song. Tears Are Falling, All Night. I really like this album. It's really good, and it's really cool to have it on vinyl. Thank you so much, Rick. He also sent Kiss Animalize. I actually have a copy of Kiss Animalize, but this vinyl is in way better shape. Like I said, spotless record. The cover's even in really good shape. And this is a good album. I like this album. There's some cheesy stuff on here, but Lonely as a Hunter, Burn Bitch Burn. Had Enough Into the Fire is a ripper. It's a good song. And of course, Thrills in the Night, Heaven's on Fire. Can't go wrong. It's a good album. Thanks again, Rick. Very kind of you. I will leave, if I didn't say this already, I'm going to leave links to everybody's channels down in the description. So if you have never heard of their activities, you may get on there and check it out. Next up, Ed from the Midwestern Abyss, which is a newish channel. It has not been super productive. I think he's got a baby in the house. I'm not entirely sure. But he sent a tape, which was very kind of him. This is Sins of the Damned with Striking the Bell of Death. If you know your band Onslaught, The Force, that Striking the Bell of Death is a chunk of lyric from Flame of the Antichrist, I want to say. He said that this was a very thrashy album, and he's not a big thrash guy. There is a lot of thrash on this, but there's also a bit of a death metal, melodic death leaning. I listened to this tape about 3 or 4 times as well. It's really good. It's on Shadow Kingdom. I did not look and see where these guys were from. Judging by the super cool cemetery picture, it must be Europe. Yeah, great stuff. Let me see if there's a... Santiago, Chile. These guys are Chilean. So, South American, very good stuff. Thank you very much, Ed. Very kind of you to send this tape. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. Next up, Jeff. My buddy Jeff, down in Lancaster. He sent a big box of stuff. And, you know, this certainly was not in my wheelhouse, but I've had a lot of fun with this stuff. And if you're an old metalhead, you've been around for a while, chances are you at one moment in your life have had some glam in your collection. I have. Starting out, you know, when I was getting out of Kiss and starting to get into heavier stuff before the Ozzies and the Dios and the Sabbaths really started to creep in, and Metallica. There was a hot minute where I had some Cinderella. I still have Rat. Out of all that whole genre, Rat, I still dig Rat. They're really good. Wasp, who kick ass still to this day. Bon Jovi. I actually have had this tape that he sent. 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Have I listened to this? I have not listened to it yet, but I used to own this tape, so it's not going to be a shock to me when I hear it. But he sent a bunch of stuff, that hard rock, some hair metal stuff, and some other cool little things, which I'm going to show you all here. This stack I've listened to. The other stack I have not listened to yet. But other than the hits, this is the first Cheap Trick I've ever owned. This is Dream Police. I kind of liked it. The side 1, not so much. Side 2 was a lot darker and a little bit heavier. But, you know, kind of glammy rock. And, yeah, I mean, Cheap Trick, they're a lot like Kiss. They were there when it all started, and they definitely earned their place in the pantheon of rock. Next up, the only other Van Halen I've ever owned was back in junior high. I owned 1984 on tape. Got rid of it. He sent Diver Down and Van Halen 2, which was, you know, Eddie Van Halen just passed. It was kind of cool to hear these in full other than the hits. Obviously, Northern Michigan rock radio is flooded with the same old Van Halen songs that you just want to claw your eyes out every time they play them. But it was cool to hear these. They're both good. If you're into this stuff, you know what I'm talking about. I've got this on vinyl, but it's cool to have it on tape. Obviously, a classic traditional / power metal from Seattle. The band's first full-length album, The Warning. Absolute hallmark for soaring metal vocalists to aspire to and fail at. But Jeff Tate, I got it right, and the songs on this are great. Great album. Wasp, Inside the Electric Circus. I did not have this album. It was cool to have it. Oh my god, what was the hits on this? Crap. Inside the Electric Circus was the video, I think. I Don't Need No Doctor was another one that they released. 9-5 Nasty, that was another single. You know, this is a good album. I'm a big fan of Blackie Lawless's vocals. He's got a super unique style. A lot of misery in those pipes, and I dig it. Next up, CJSS. I listened to this once. Shreddery guitar. Kind of hair metal-ish, but it really walks the line between hair metal and traditional metal. It's good. I liked it. I definitely need to revisit it. I'm going to go kind of quick on some of the stuff because there's a lot. White Snake, Snakebite. This has... Side 1 was recorded at a different time. There's like 2 different eras. One's... I guess I can look at the fucking insert. Give you some sort of info here. I don't know. There's like 2 different eras of the band. It's got David Coverdale. It's all David Coverdale stuff. And it's good. I enjoyed it. I've gotten to the point where I kind of respect Whitesnake. This is the 3rd Whitesnake tape I've acquired in the last 6 months. I enjoy it. It's fun. Next up, here's a favorite. Invasion of Your Privacy. I got the vinyl. He sent the tape. I can listen to it out in the shop. It's very cool. Thank you so much, Jeff. I love the atmosphere of this stuff. Yeah, they're hair metalish, but they're more of a they were definitely more hard rock focused. And Warren DeMartini is a great fucking soulful shredder with a lot of feeling. I really like his playing, and I really like these songs. Stephen Pearcy's vocals are great. It's a great album. It's a great album. I used to own this one. In fact, this is the only Motley Crue tape I've ever owned. Theater of Pain. I did have Shout at the Devil for a minute, but I bought it from a pawn shop and it was a busted tape. I mean, is this their greatest album? No, but there's some good songs on here. Home Sweet Home was a hit. I mean, there's some good songs on here. It was fun listening to it. It was weird not having heard it in decades and popping it in and still knowing the songs. You know, like that muscle memory of having this and playing it. You know, I was buying these tapes at a time where I didn't have a ton of money and there wasn't a ton of bands. So whatever you got, you listened to the shit out of, whether you liked it a lot or not. You tended to listen to it a lot until you finally liked it, which I did with this. This is a good album. Armored Saint, Raising Fear. You know, this is my 3rd Armored Saint tape this year as well, and I like this band. I don't love this band, but I like them. I respect their place in metal. John Bush has got a good vocals. There's just something about these guys that just... I mean, they play great metal. Don't get me wrong. There's just something holding it back. It seems maybe a bit too polished, a bit too... I don't know. The stuff is just very subdued. It seems like it's missing a little piss and vinegar. You know, there's not enough grit in the recordings of these albums, I guess. But this is a good album. I enjoyed it. The 3 Armored Saint tapes I have now, I like them all. Next, I already showed you the Bon Jovi. I haven't listened to this one yet. These I have not listened to yet. Leatherwolf with just self-titled. No idea. He did send a couple things for my wife, which is cool. I'll show those here in a minute. Faster Pussycat with Whipped. Have not checked that out yet. Kicks, self-titled. I hear people say that these guys were good. I'm sure I've heard... I don't know. It seemed like there was a video on this I've seen. I don't remember it, though. Europe. Final Countdown. This song contains the most brain cancer-inducing song ever, an earworm hook that hard rock heavy metal's ever known, and that is The Final Countdown. Just saying that fucking word, it's in my head right now. It's in my head. I didn't have to listen to the song, and it's in my head. It's going to be for a month. This is going to be a tough one for me to listen to, but I'm going to do it. Just because that song is just like brain cancer, man. Carrie. Carrie was the other one. That was like the ballad video that they put out, which it was good to hear because it was something other than the Final Countdown that they were playing on MTV. But anyway, thanks, Jeff. I will check it out. I don't mean to be slagging what you sent me. I'm just saying that, whew. Another Deep Purple, Houses of Blue Light. The House of Blue Light. Have not spun this yet. This one came out in 87. He also sent Perfect Strangers, which Rick sent on vinyl. So I got 84 and 87. It'll be interesting to hear how this one does. Triumph, Never Surrender. Canadian power trio. Very rushy at times. What have I heard on this? Never Surrender, of course. I'm looking forward to this one. Every record show I've ever been to, there's always used Triumph stuff. I would really like to be into this so I can pick up some more cool heavy rock from Canada for cheap. And he sent these two for my wife, which was very kind of him. My wife loves Journey. He sent Departure. He also sent a Live in Houston 81 Escape Tour DVD, which we have not watched yet, but we will. This is Steve Perry on vocals. And it's got the hits, I think. Open Arms. Who's Crying Now? Don't Stop Believing. Keep on Running. Wheel in the Sky. Love and Touch and Squeezing. Any Way You Want It. Some good shit on here. Kind of looking forward to checking this out. And this is really cool because I used to own this and I let a friend borrow it and I never got it back. Which is fine. The guy's like my brother and he probably just forgot about it, but it's really cool to Skinny Puppy, The Greater Wrong of the Right Live. This is obvious. This is post Dwayne Goddard's death when Ogre and Kevin Key got back together and started making music again. They put out The Greater Wrong of the Right, which is Skinny Puppy. I mean, Ogre's vocals are very much a characteristic, an unshakable characteristic of the Skinny Puppy sound. But without Dwayne in the mix, in the songwriting mix, Skinny Puppy has admittedly taken on more of a dancey EDM flavor as they've progressed post Dwayne's unfortunate passing. 20 years ago, I probably wouldn't have liked that, but now I kind of do. And I have, within the last 5 years, picked up all of the Skinny Puppy shit that I missed, and I've liked just about all of them. And this is a great video. It's got some archival footage on here, some Live in Europe snippets, and then there's a full Greater Wrong of the Right live. I think they play the whole thing. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've seen it. It's 110 minutes, but there's some classics on here. Smothered Hope, Texture, Convulsion. But, they pretty much have a full band on this. Drummer, guitar player, the whole shebang. It isn't just three dudes getting bloody on a stage. It's, a full band in a nice production. This is good shit. If you're not a Skinny Puppy fan, definitely check them out. They're fucking awesome. And he also sent some compilation stuff like Ear Candy, Terrorizer samplers, Southern Lord sampler, Peaceville sampler, the fun things to throw in the car and check out when you're driving around if you just want to be listening to something completely that you are unaware of. Is this even recording? That would be funny. Yeah, it is. Next up, my buddy Pat over at Ground Zero Salem. He sent me a nice little Yule care package. And, man, there's some bangers in this thing. And I have not gotten to all of it yet, so I'm going to show you first the things I have listened to and can talk a little bit about. There's some cool shit here. And let's start with this. New Model Army. It's a promo cassette for Thunder of Consolation. Obviously, you may have recognized the name. Sepultura did a cover of a New Model Army song, and the band Anacrusis on their third album. What the fuck's the name of it? It's drawing a blank in my head right now. They did a cover of the song I Love the World, and it's the first song on this tape. And it's amazing how cool of a job and good of a job Anacrusis did on that cover. They nailed the feel, they nailed the instrumentation of it, but they just gave it a thrashy Anacrusis proggy feel. And this New Model Army is really good. Post-punk, UK styled, alternative. I don't know. Post-punk is the best way to describe it. It's a lot of that early English stuff. It's very drum and bass, intricate. The drum and bass interplay is usually very interesting from this earlier post-punk stuff. Great vocals. It's very British sounding. The songs on this are good. I really, really enjoyed the crap out of this tape. And I'm very thankful he sent it because this is my first touch with actually hearing New Model Army. Going to be definitely investigating more, but thank you, Pat, for sending this. Definitely check out Thunder and Consolation. Next up, he was kind enough to send Creator, Endless Pain, Remastered. It was cool to get the... I did not pick this up on vinyl. The only one of these remasters that I own is Extreme Aggression on vinyl. This is cool because it's a remastered version of Endless Pain, which, let's face it, that album needed a little bit of a touch-up. But it also contains a Blitzkrieg demo and End of the World demo, which I don't think I ever heard them, to be honest, up until this point. But very cool. There's a big booklet in there talking about the history, and Noise is back hooked up with BMG and re-releasing stuff from their catalog, their back catalog, which is fine with me, man. It's great stuff. Another cool thing he sent a brand new version of Killing Joke's debut album, self-titled. This has the album plus 5 bonus tracks. Again, I've heard some Killing Joke over the years on videos. I've heard their gothic period. I've heard their industrialized period, like a track here and there. This is, again, very much post-punk. More so than the New Model Army. I might have misspoke by calling New Model Army post-punk, but this is definitely post-punk. And again, the drums and the bass are very much very in sync, very rhythmically interesting. You got that plotting foundation, and the vocals are very good, very British sounding. This is good stuff. I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate you sending this, Pat. Kind of an eye-opening experience to actually be able to sit and listen to this stuff. Next up, I don't know where these guys are from, but he sent a complete collection. Well, the Complete Cluster Fucks Collection Volume 2. So apparently it's not the complete collection because it's Volume 2. So there must be a Volume 1 out there. But it's on Chain Reaction Records. The first half of this was very DRI, early DRI sounding, even down to the tone and the vocals. The singer's style was very much sounded like Spike. As this material went on, it started to take on more of a metalized tone. I guess kind of the way DRI did, except these guys are a lot more interesting than metalized DRI. Sorry. I really liked DRI when they were super punky and energetic and crushing, but as they got more metalized, they got really fucking boring. Sorry, Pat, I know you like them. This was good. I enjoyed it a bunch. Listened to it twice. Good. This is probably US. It just sounds very US. I wonder if it's going to tell me. I don't know, but it contains all those releases on it. Again, the computer's not going to focus. There we go. Good stuff. Very interesting to check out. I've made no mistake or made no secret of the fact that I love Noise International, Noise Records. And he sent me the second Doomsday News video, which I did not own. And it's got a bunch of videos by some amazing bands. Watchtower, Creator, Voivod, Rage, Damn, Running Wild, Vendetta, Celtic Frost. Yeah, Mania, Corner, Scanner, Gamma Ray. Very dated videos. Very cool to see them. Great fucking music. Love this stuff so much. Love this era of metal for sure. He also sent Blue Water, 7-inch by Fields of the Nephilim. The backside, back with In Every Dream Home a Heartache, which is a cover of, I can't remember the band that it covers, but this is very cool. I own the 12-inch of this. It's very cool to have the 7-inch as well. I don't know what the advantage is to them pressing on 7-inch and 12-inch. It's just very strange. Brian Ferry, In Every Dream. This must be a Roxy Music cover. Every Dream Home a Heartache is a Roxy Music cover. But here are the labels. Whoa. Very cool. He knows I'm a fan and a collector of this stuff. When it turns up, I jump on it. I would have jumped on this in the store too for $4. Thank you so much, Pat. He also sent this, which I have not listened to yet, but it's very cool. Voivod's Forever Mountain, 7-inch. Back with Napalm Death. Phonetics for the Stupefied. Away did the artwork for both sides of this, and it's on red vinyl. I'm not going to show you that because you already know what red looks like. Looking forward to checking this out. Have not listened to it yet. And he sent 3 tapes more as well that I have not heard yet. I did start listening to this. A Ground Zero Salem sampler. I love Chewbacca knocking out Hitler there. This is for everyone and no one. Basically, it is a super big, crushing, hardcore mixtape. Agnostic Front's on there. Bad Brains. Capitalist Casualties. There's some Crust on here. Conflict. Disassociate. Integrity. Face Value. Born Against. There's a lot of cool shit on here. I'm about that far into it. Can't wait to sit and listen to the rest of it. Next up is Lapidem with Lunacy Sativa. Have not listened to this yet. I'm assuming it's death metal. These guys, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know. I'm just going to say that I can't wait to listen to it. I have not gotten around to it yet. I listen to a lot of my tapes out in the shop when I'm working and haven't had all the jobs I got done before these all came in. And next up, Cardiac Arrest on Head Split. This is the day that death prevailed. A lot of you have been talking about how good this brutal old school death metal is. I'm going to be looking forward to checking this out as well. Yes, that was Pat's package. Thank you so much, man. Last but not least, my buddy Brainsmasher, Ben, sent me a big box of CDs. Is any of you that watches the Brainsmasher channel, you know that Ben and his missus have purchased a house, and he is trying to weed out some of the stuff in his CD collection, so he sent some out to some friends. And I got a nice box of stuff here. Some of it is really killer. Some of it I have not listened to yet. I started listening to this Witchfind, the best of Witchfind, which is a band I've learned about through the vinyl community. A lot of fans are into this new wave of British heavy metal, which is a style other than Iron Maiden, Grim Reaper, Judas Priest. You know, a handful of bands that I've missed out on. So to be able to hear this stuff, it's been kind of interesting after knowing how much people love Witchfind. This might be a hot take, and I'm not trying to piss people off because this is a very much an uneducated observation. But this new wave of British heavy metal is very hard rock. It's very hard rock centric, and you know, obviously, as early as this shit came out, there was no metal to influence. I mean, this came out in 79 and 81. There was no metal in the true modern sense of the world to be influenced by. So these guys kind of were influenced by hard rock, and they, out of that, evolved into more of a metal entity. It was shaped very much by the British scene. You know, I like some of the songs on this, and I would be interested to listen to full lengths of these guys, but overall, I was, first impression, I was a little underwhelmed, to be honest. It's cool, hard rock. There's some cool, interesting, quirky things here and there. It's good metal, good at its roots metal, but it's not quite there yet. It isn't like Judas Priest yet level of quality in my book. But I enjoyed it. I'm going to check it out some more for sure. These two, I love this band. And I'm not a humongous traditional Doom guy. I don't listen to it a ton, but when I do, it's usually Reverend Bizarre. I've got this one on vinyl. Love it. It's got a Burzum cover of Dunkelheit, but they did it 10 times slower, which makes it crushingly heavy, and it's good. There they are. These guys are now broken up. Those sad, sad Finns. This one I had not heard. It's a 2 CD set. It's super long, but man, is it good. I like the weirdness of the vocalist. I love the bass tone. I love the pure, old-sounding guitar tone. Super heavy. Unapologetically crawling and heavy. These guys are just good. And out of all of this whole entire genre, this band is the one that scratches the itch whenever I want to listen to this type of sludgy doom stuff. Thank you, Ben, for sending those. Twisted Tower Dyer. Lead singer guy here in the middle with the... Tony was his name, I believe. He passed some years ago in an accident. This is a 2 CD set. There's some demo tracks on here. I saw this band live once, and they were good. Live, he had a really good, strong voice. He also sang for October 31 for a minute, too. But I was kind of surprised. I got about 4 songs into this, and the production is pretty bad. The band sounds a little bit sloppy. It's kind of like they did it live maybe and didn't, tighten up all the edges. It's okay. I need to get back to it. Maybe I wasn't in the mood, but it did not blow me away. Midnight. Have not listened to this yet, but I have heard this band. Very much Venom-centric. Deliverance. What a joke. I do watch a lot of Scott Waters. I respect him as a metalhead and is a longtime fan. I know he's big into these guys and he's friends with these guys. They're a Christian. They start off Christian thrash band. This looks like this may not be a high quality release from them. I could be wrong, but what a joke. I'm looking forward to checking it out and trying to process what all the fuss is about. Bands like Living Sacrifice and Deliverance, I know they start out really cool and thrashy. Drop a note in the comments what I should check out by both of those bands. Tyrant, Goat, Galdra Kona. Yep. Since Ben sent it, I will check it out, but I have not done so yet. This came out on Stygian Shadows. Tyrant, Goat, Rakona. We're going to have a goat on there. It might as well be a large goat with flames coming out of its nether regions. That's a bad sign. Anyway, next up, I've had this on tape since it came out. Tyrants, Too Late to Pray. Decent U.S. power / traditional early metal. Good stuff. I don't love this band, but this is a good band. It's cool to have it on CD. This is a Old Metal Records. That's King Fowley. So this is a reissue, a King reissue. Looks pretty good too. Next up, I have not listened to this yet. Sorcery, 2 CD, Unholy Creations. Looks like it has a Hell's Headbangers, licensed from To the Death. This is all demo material, mostly demo material, compilation tracks. Looking forward to checking this out. Looks cool, looks old school. Whoa! Let me know what I'm in for. I have not checked it out yet. I'm going to. Just been a lot of music. Little guy here. Pretty cheesy cover. Brimstone, Carving the Crimson Career. Nuclear Blast. 1999. We shall see. Eternal Solstice. I've heard a lot of people talk about this. Have not heard it. It's on Dark Descent. It's got to be good. Remnants of Immortality. Have not checked it out yet. Dark Mirror, Portrait of Evil. There's a cover for you. This is on Killer Metal Records. We shall see. Should be fun to check out. You got dudes in top hats. How bad could it be? Right? Another good cover. Unity. This is on Killer Metal Records as well. We shall see what this is all about. My guess, since Ben sent it, it might not be all that hot, but we shall see. I will keep an open mind. Next up, 2 CDs by a band that I think I've seen live once. Bloodstorm. This is Death by the Storm Wizard. Can't read it in this light in here. This one is Syrian Storm. These guys are good. This is good US black metal. The main guy, singer from this band, was the touring bass player and singer for Absu back in the day during the Terra and Sooner era. Blood Duster, everybody's favorite grind, disgusting porno freaks. I think Simon from Explosive Action is related to at least 3 of these guys. I think they're like cousins. Is that how that goes? Because everybody in Australia knows everybody. I mean, that's just us, our American perception of that. So yeah, check them out. I have not heard this album yet. I've got a couple of their albums, but not this one. It'd be cool to check it out. Ultimatum, The Iron Age. This is on Siege Records. This looks cool and old. I can't wait to check this out. I have no idea what this is. Made in Canada, Siege Records, 1995. Yep. Witch Trap. I have heard of Witch Trap. It's not bad. I don't have either of these. Have not heard these. This is No Anesthesia and Witching Metal. Both of these are on Hell's Headbangers. We'll check them out. Wolf. I think I've heard this album before. It's on Prosthetic. I want to say traditional type metal. I don't know for sure. It's been a long time. I recognize the cover. I probably had a promo of this at one point, but I did not keep it for some reason or another. Oh, it's also licensed from No Fashion. See this little logo down there. So who knows? This might be really cool. And an Old Funeral EP. Goat Watchers United 7-inch CDR. So yeah, that's that. That's a lot of stuff, man. And my buddy Zoller just dropped a humongous box of stuff that's going to keep the channel going for a long time. There's a ton of great stuff that I missed last year. A lot of death metal, some black metal stuff. I mean, there's a lot of talking points coming up. I just want to thank everybody for sticking around, watching me go through this crap, mostly uneducated, and for sticking with me for all these years. And you rule. I will talk to you all later, and thanks again to everybody that sent stuff in. Check out their channels, and have a great evening.